Have you ever wondered if heaven and hell truly exist? In the vast realm of human beliefs, the concepts of heaven and hell have persistently remained. With roots deeply entrenched in religious and cultural doctrines, these notions represent more than just destinations for the departed. They symbolize the perpetual dichotomy of good versus evil, reward versus punishment that permeates our existence. Consider heaven, a place of eternal bliss and tranquility, often envisioned as a paradise adrift among the clouds. It's the ultimate reward for a life of virtue, a sanctuary for the righteous. Here, one's earthly deeds of kindness, love and compassion are met with divine recompense. Then there's hell, the notorious counterpart. A place of torment and despair, it serves as the final destination for the wicked and the sinful. It's a realm of retribution, where deeds of malice and hatred are met with fitting punishment. This stark contrast between heaven and hell reflects our innate sense of justice, the yearning for good to triumph over evil. However, these are not universal interpretations. The concept of heaven as a reward and hell as a punishment is deeply rooted in Abrahamic religions like Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. But what about other cultures? What about other religions? In Hinduism and Buddhism, for instance, the afterlife is not a final destination, but a part of a cyclical journey of birth, death, and rebirth. Here, the concepts of heaven and hell take on a different meaning. Heaven and hell are temporary states, experienced as part of the soul's journey towards ultimate liberation. In some indigenous cultures, the afterlife is not split into realms of reward and punishment, but rather a continuation of life, albeit in a different form. Ancestral spirits remain an integral part of the community, their presence felt and respected in the everyday lives of the living. As we dive deeper, we find that interpretations of heaven and hell vary greatly across different cultures and religions. But one thing remains constant: our fascination with what lies beyond the veil of death. It's a question as old as humanity itself, and one we continue to ponder. Heaven, a place of eternal happiness, but is it the same for everyone? In Christianity, heaven is often portrayed as a paradise, a place of eternal peace and joy where believers are reunited with their loved ones and commune with God in His celestial kingdom. Streets of gold, gates of pearl, and a city bathed in divine light are common motifs. Meanwhile, in Islam, heaven, or Jannah, is depicted as a lush garden, teeming with rivers of milk, honey, and wine. It's a place of physical and spiritual pleasure where desires are fulfilled and loved ones reunited, all under the benevolent gaze of Allah. Hinduism offers a slightly different perspective. Svargaloka, the Hindu heaven, is a temporary place of pleasure, a reward for good deeds before the soul reincarnates. The ultimate goal, however, is moksha, liberation from the cycle of birth and death, and union with the divine. Buddhism, on the other hand, focuses less on a physical heaven and more on a state of being. Nirvana, often translated as extinguishing, is the ultimate spiritual goal. It is the cessation of suffering, the extinguishing of desire, and the attainment of enlightenment. It's not a place, but a state of existence beyond our conventional understanding of space and time. Indigenous cultures around the world also have their unique interpretations. For example, the Aboriginal people of Australia believe in the dreaming, an eternal, timeless place that exists alongside our reality. It's where ancestral spirits reside and where individuals return after death. So what do all these visions of heaven have in common? Despite the differences in details, they all speak to an innate human longing for peace, for reunion, and for a sense of ultimate fulfillment or enlightenment. Whether it's streets of gold or rivers of honey, the cessation of suffering or the cycle of rebirth, these interpretations of heaven reflect our hopes, our fears, and our deepest desires. While interpretations vary, the longing for a blissful afterlife remains a universal human desire. Hell, a place of eternal suffering, but does it hold the same meaning in all cultures? Let's delve into the depths of the underworld as it's perceived in various cultures and religions. The Christian concept of hell, for instance, is often depicted as a fiery inferno where sinners face eternal torment. It's a place of punishment, a realm governed by the devil, where the wicked suffer for their transgressions committed in the mortal world. Contrastingly, in Norse mythology, the underworld, known as hell, is a cold, dark realm. It's a place of dreariness, ruled by the goddess Hel. It's not necessarily a place of torment, but rather a cold, shadowy existence, far removed from the vibrancy of life. Now let's turn our attention to Eastern philosophies. In Hinduism and Buddhism, there's no equivalent to the fiery pits of hell. Instead, they believe in a cycle of birth, death, and rebirth known as samsara. If one's actions or karma in a previous life were negative, they could be reborn into a lower realm or a difficult life, a concept that could be likened to a form of hell. In Buddhism, there are multiple realms one can be reborn into, including several hellish realms. Yet these are not eternal. Suffering in these realms continues until the negative karma that led to that birth is exhausted, after which one can be reborn into a higher realm. In Islam, hell or Jahannam is a place of fire and suffering, a realm for those who deny truth and lead wicked lives. It's a place of chastisement, yet similar to Buddhism, it's not necessarily eternal for all, as mercy and forgiveness are fundamental tenets of the faith. These interpretations of hell, while varied in their depiction, all carry a common thread. They represent a place or state of suffering, a consequence of one's actions or moral choices. It's a universal symbol of retribution and penance. Despite the wide range of interpretations, hell universally symbolizes a place of punishment and suffering. Heaven and hell, two sides of the same coin, or are they? As we delve deeper into the myriad interpretations of heaven and hell, we notice some common threads weaving through these narratives, as well as stark differences that highlight the diversity of human thought and culture. Across the globe, heaven is often depicted as a realm of eternal peace, joy, and fulfillment. It's a place where the virtuous are rewarded, where love and compassion reign supreme. Be it the Christian heaven, the Islamic Jannah, or the Hindu concept of moksha, the motif of eternal bliss is a common denominator. It's a reflection of our collective desire for comfort, happiness, and an end to suffering. Conversely, hell is the embodiment of punishment and suffering, a place where evil deeds meet their due retribution. The fires of the Christian hell, the torment of the Islamic Jahannam, the cycle of rebirth in the Hindu Naraka, they all symbolize our fear of pain, our dread of divine punishment, and the human instinct to avoid suffering. Yet amidst these commonalities, we also find striking differences, shaped by the cultural contexts and historical periods in which these concepts evolved. For instance, the Christian heaven is often described as a city of gold and jewels, a reflection of earthly wealth and prosperity. The Islamic Jannah, on the other hand, is depicted as a garden with rivers of milk, honey, and wine, reflecting the desert environment of early Islam. Similarly, depictions of hell vary greatly. The Dantean vision of hell, with its 9 concentric circles of torment, is a far cry from the Hindu concept of Naraka, which is not eternal but a temporary purgatory from which souls can eventually attain liberation. In the end, these diverse interpretations of heaven and hell are more than just religious doctrines. They are complex tapestries of human emotion and imagination, born out of our hopes and fears, our cultural contexts, and historical experiences. In the end, heaven and hell serve as metaphors for our deepest hopes and fears. From fiery pits to celestial palaces, the journey into the afterlife is as diverse as humanity itself. This statement, my friends, succinctly sums up our exploration of heaven and hell across different cultures and religions. We've journeyed through a myriad of beliefs, vividly painting pictures of the afterlife. We've seen the radiant, ethereal heavens, filled with tranquility and bliss. We've descended into the fiery, terrifying hells where suffering and punishment reign. The diversity of these visions is a testament to the rich tapestry of human imagination and belief. But beyond the fascinating tales and imagery, these beliefs about the afterlife hold a deeper significance. They are not merely stories spun to entertain or frighten, but powerful tools that shape our moral and ethical codes. Consider how the promise of heaven encourages virtuous behavior and discourages wrongdoing. The allure of a blissful afterlife, where one is rewarded for good deeds, can be a potent motivator for leading a moral life. On the other hand, the fear of hell, a place of torment for those who transgress, serves as a strong deterrent against immoral actions. These beliefs, in many ways, lay the foundation of societal norms and values. They guide our actions, influence our decisions, and shape our perceptions of right and wrong. They help maintain social order and harmony, fostering a sense of accountability and responsibility among individuals. And let's not forget the comfort and solace these beliefs provide in times of despair and loss. The thought of a loved one in a peaceful heaven or the hope of being reunited in the afterlife can be a significant source of strength and consolation. Whether heaven and hell truly exist remains a mystery, but their influence on human culture and behavior is undeniable. So as we conclude our deep dive into heaven and hell, let's remember that these concepts are more than just destinations in the afterlife. They are integral parts of our collective human experience, shaping our societies, our behaviors, and indeed our very understanding of life and death.